So yeah, we mentioned briefly the coach of the year. You definitely did not nominate Brian Kelly, but maybe like for comedic value, like
Oh,
most
I
ridiculous
mean,
coach of the
he,
year.
he is the gift that keeps on giving right now. And I didn't. I had one little thing to talk about Notre Dame, and then this gift came across my Twitter feed.
After like manufacturing a bizarre Southern accent, he was able to find a way to top that
Yeah,
comedy.
he kind of was found a way to top that. LSU signed heavily recruited 5-star quarterback out of Louisiana. Heavily recruited quarterback for Notre Dame.
Oh,
Walker Howard. Notre Dame went after him big time. That would have been when Kelly was there. He came to the campus, but ended up staying at home and going to LSU. Very, very interesting there. Very interesting there. Um, it was such a joyous announcement that LSU apparently has some deluxe, almost pro-like looking, video room to make LSU player announcements or something that saw Walker Howard standing on a circular platform that lit up that had LSU that then sent Brian Kelly into what could only be described as a dance reminiscent of Trump in one of his rallies as the camera did 360s around both of them as the announcement that he is coming to LSU, and Kelly danced very awkwardly over and over again.
that was
And
the
in his
main thing I saw on social media. The reaction to this isn't awkward. It was
and
horrifying. It's the way I would
it
describe
was
it.
horrifying, and this is like 2 weeks in a row now. We're going to win it down here in LSU now, and
My
now we got
family.
a family, and now we've got him dancing in a hype video that Walker Howard said something to the effect like "I'm with my coach" or "I got my coach." Um,
You
so
probably needed to have creative control over that because it was not good.
no, it was not good. And it's just another. I just wonder what he's going to do this upcoming week. I mean, he's seems like a different person since leaving Notre Dame, and I kind of questioned did Notre Dame keep some reins on him that he wasn't allowed to be free and do what he wanted to do because Notre Dame has a different reputation than
This is
perhaps
the real Brian
LSU.
Kelly stepping
Yeah,
out.
he's a party man.
Yeah, I'm not so
He's
sure about that.
he's a Southern man. He likes to party. He's a dancer. Who knew? But something I did want to talk about, and it kind of stems off this pushing hard for Walker Howard and not getting him, and him ending up with Brian Kelly. Two things I just want to touch upon somewhat quickly with Notre Dame was, Brian Kelly gave that speech after he became the winningest coach in Notre Dame football history, and I didn't think about it that much at the time. But was that his goodbye to Notre Dame then?
Wow.
When
When was this?
this was like week 6, maybe week
So halfway
7.
through the season.
Yeah, halfway through the season. Was that his goodbye? Because he kind of conceded that he was not ever going to win a championship when his exact
Wow.
words, and I didn't think about it at the time, but he said, yeah, winning is coach of all time that never won a championship. And was he already making his way to LSU? Was he busy recruiting in those states?
Wow.
Because he was
Thinking he would be able to flip them.
be able to flip these guys. Notre Dame going into this season had 23 committed recruits, number 5 in the country, rated. I forget which site it was, but there's a site that does that, like sure, based on the amount of commitments. I'm sure Alabama's number 1. They probably get to a whole team committed every year. So, Freeman had his work cut out for him, especially, after this Walker Howard announcement. Over the last week, he visited 18 out of the 23 recruits, flew around the country, showing his commitment. The interesting thing about Notre Dame is when all these other schools lost their coaches over the last few weeks, you had 7 or 8 players leaving. Notre Dame, I think, lost 2.
Well, and that's where the strategy of hiring Freeman is really paying off, because I'm sure he was intimately involved in the recruiting of all these guys. So it's not like a brand new guy just showing up in their living room. I think he's going to visit all these guys because he already has a relationship with them, and then wants to tell them what they're going to be doing going forward and to cement that. So I think that's just yet another reason why I think this is a smart move, hiring him, and he's already hit the ground running. I mean, the proof is in the pudding now. He's got his first major test coming up on is it New Year's Day?
New Year's Day, early. It's
the Fiesta Bowl is early now. I didn't realize
it's early. Okay. Yeah, it's it's the second start. I think there's an 11 o'clock start, and then the Fiesta Bowl's at noon.
I feel like when we were kids, it was always like the late afternoon.
Yeah, it was
after the Rose Bowl, even maybe it was the night game.
Yeah, I always thought Fiesta Bowl was or was the Orange Bowl,
Sugar
Bowl
night
game?
Well, Sugar Bowl and Orange Bowl, those were night. I think they were on opposite networks. They didn't work.
Yeah.
They didn't work together, so you had to kind of flip back and forth, or you had to get up and turn the knob.
Yeah, right, exactly. But so what is going to remain of this recruiting class is going to be interesting to see for Notre Dame and where that puts them. They have some top 100 receivers in the country committed. A guy named CJ Williams and Amarian Walker. The problem was this week when Freeman went out, they were both out of state playing in championship games out of their respective towns. So he wasn't able to meet with those guys. And if they get one of the two guys, it'll be fine. But they've also been recruited hard by other schools. And interestingly enough, more conspiracy theory, maybe Amarian Walker was playing a state championship game in Louisiana. So I'm sure good old Brian and his crew went to see
dance
him.
Right on over there.
They danced right on over there. He said, "How about you come over to LSU? I'll make it worth your while."
I think that's quite plausible. I don't think that's necessarily a conspiracy theory right there. I think that would make some sense that he'd be getting in on that in his new home territory. But
Word Hole Media.